Days of Our Lives reveals that Holly is on the brink of being kidnapped, with the culprits likely tied to the same shadowy group that previously injured Doug. This high-stakes situation brings her friends, Tate and Doug, into the fray, setting the stage for a daring rescue that will leave viewers on the edge of their seats. Holly Jonas has always been a mix of charm and resourcefulness, but her impulsive decisions sometimes land her in hot water. Fans will recall her recent escapade where she cleverly convinced Maggie Kiriakis to part with money under the pretense of funding a school trip. The real purpose? Helping Doug pay off a substantial debt. While her intentions were noble, her actions inadvertently placed her in the crosshairs of dangerous individuals. The debt Doug owed was no small matter, and it brought him into contact with some truly unsavory characters. Holly's attempt to help him didn't go unnoticed. During one heated exchange with one of the thugs, she made a sharp comment, a momentary lapse in judgment that hit a nerve. While Holly dismissed the encounter as a passing storm, the truth was far more menacing. The criminals saw an opportunity, not just for revenge, but for profit. After all, Holly wasn't just a good Samaritan, she was also the granddaughter of a wealthy widow, and that made her a valuable target. As the kidnappers' plan takes shape, Holly's life begins to spiral into peril. Doug, who has been grappling with guilt over dragging Holly into this mess, grows increasingly uneasy. His instincts tell him the danger isn't over, but Holly, ever the optimist, brushes off his concerns. Little does she know that she's being watched. The criminals have already mapped out her routines and pieced together enough information to strike. It happens on an ordinary day when Holly least expects it. She's walking home from school when a black van screeches to a halt beside her. Before she can react, masked men pull her inside, leaving her belongings scattered on the sidewalk. The scene is quick and chaotic, a testament to the kidnappers' calculated planning. Within minutes, Holly is gone, and the Jonas household is plunged into panic. The kidnappers waste no time delivering their demands. A ransom note arrives at Maggie's mansion, scrawled in jagged handwriting. They demand a hefty sum, warning against contacting the authorities. Maggie is beside herself with fear, clutching the note as tears stream down her face. Doug, too, is overwhelmed with guilt. He knows this is his fault and vows to make it right. Meanwhile, Tate, Holly's longtime admirer, refuses to stand idly by. Together, the two young men hatch a plan to rescue Holly, despite the overwhelming odds. Doug and Tate gather what information they can about the kidnappers' hideout. With the ransom money packed into a nondescript duffel bag, they head to the drop-off point under the cover of darkness. The designated location is an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town, its broken windows and rusted doors a fitting backdrop for the unfolding drama. The air is thick with tension as they arrive, hearts pounding in unison. Inside the warehouse, Holly sits bound to a chair, her wrists chafed from the ropes. Though frightened, she refuses to show weakness. Her sharp mind works overtime, analyzing her captors and searching for an opening to escape. She knows Doug and Tate won't abandon her, and she clings to that hope. Doug and Tate split up, each determined to find a way in without alerting the kidnappers. Doug, armed with nothing more than a flashlight and raw determination, sneaks through a side entrance. Tate, ever the risk-taker, scales the building to peer through a second-floor window. Inside, they spot Holly and exchange a silent nod. The plan is risky, but it's all they have. Doug distracts the kidnappers by creating a loud clatter near the back of the warehouse, drawing two of them away. Meanwhile, Tate uses the distraction to slip inside and cut Holly's bindings. The moment her hands are free, Holly springs into action, grabbing a loose plank of wood to defend herself. Together, they make a break for the exit, but the remaining thug blocks their path. A tense standoff ensues, with Tate stepping forward to shield Holly. Just as it seems all hope is lost, Doug reappears, tackling the thug to the ground. The commotion draws the attention of local police, who arrive just in time to apprehend the kidnappers. The aftermath is a whirlwind of emotions. Holly throws her arms around Doug and Tate, her gratitude spilling out in tearful thanks. For Doug, the rescue is a moment of redemption, a chance to prove that he's more than his mistakes. For Tate, it's an opportunity to strengthen his bond with Holly, though he can't help but notice the growing connection between her and Doug. As Holly is reunited with Maggie, the trauma of her ordeal begins to fade, replaced by a newfound appreciation for life and those who care for her. Yet, questions linger. Who will ultimately win her heart? Doug, with his quiet bravery, or Tate, with his relentless determination? The rescue may be over, but the story is far from finished. Days of Our Lives promises more twists and turns as Holly navigates her feelings and the aftermath of her harrowing experience. With danger lurking in the shadows and love blossoming in unexpected places, the drama in Salem shows no signs of slowing down. Fans will want to stay tuned for the next chapter in this thrilling saga. In the unfolding drama of Days of Our Lives, on Tuesday, January 21st, the intricate relationships and business maneuvers of Salem's most prominent families take center stage. The episode opens with a reflective moment as Sarah Kiriakis stands before the iconic portrait of Victor Kiriakis, grappling with her conscience. Her guilt weighs heavily as she confesses to the late patriarch about secrets she's been keeping from Xander Kiriakis. This moment of vulnerability hints at the complexity of Sarah's inner turmoil and sets the stage for the tangled web of deception to unravel. Before Sarah can collect her thoughts, Xander walks in, catching her mid-confession. Startled, Sarah quickly fabricates a story, suggesting her guilt stems from not spending enough time with Justin Kiriakis. Xander's curiosity is piqued, but Sarah's ability to deflect keeps her secrets safe, for now. This brief interaction underscores the precarious nature of their relationship and hints at the cracks forming beneath the surface. Meanwhile, the Kiriakis family's business dealings take a strategic turn. Xander finds Philip Kiriakis in the office and expresses his readiness to join forces as true partners. Their conversation is initially tense, as Philip acknowledges his hasty dismissal of Xander's idea to target Demera Enterprises. The idea of striking while the Demera leadership is distracted gains traction. Xander, emboldened by the opportunity to seize control, points out that the Demera family's vulnerabilities make this the perfect time to act. Philip hesitates, torn between ethical considerations and the allure of a decisive business victory. Kristen Demera's preoccupation with Rachel Black's disappearance gives Philip pause, but Xander's resolve remains unshaken. He recalls past grievances, particularly Kristen's actions during the serum debacle, and views this as a justified opportunity for retaliation. Ultimately, Philip aligns with Xander's aggressive strategy, and the two Kiriakis men vow to up the game, signaling their intent to challenge the Demeras on both personal and professional fronts. Elsewhere in Salem, Sarah seeks counsel at the hospital, engaging in a candid conversation with Kayla Johnson. The discussion takes a personal turn as Kayla reveals that Stephanie Johnson confided in her about her recent breakup with Philip. Sarah's curiosity is piqued, but when Kayla admits that Stephanie kept the details vague, Sarah feigns relief and pretends to know the same story. This interaction highlights Sarah's knack for navigating delicate situations while maintaining her own secrets. At the same time, Jada and Stephanie cross paths in another corner of the hospital. Their conversation shifts to Stephanie's breakup with Philip, with Stephanie describing her decision as a reaction to seeing a darker side of Philip in business dealings. The tension between personal relationships and professional integrity becomes a recurring theme, as Stephanie's choices reflect her desire for stability and transparency. Jada's excitement about her upcoming wedding brings a moment of levity. Stephanie, eager to support her friend, offers her assistance. Jada, recognizing Stephanie's dedication, asks her to serve as maid of honor. This heartfelt request adds a layer of warmth to an otherwise tension-filled day, and Stephanie's enthusiastic acceptance strengthens their bond. As the hospital's corridors bustle with activity, Alex Kiriakis arrives and learns of Stephanie's new role in Jada's wedding. The conversation takes a more serious turn when Alex inquires about Philip's absence from the event. Stephanie, unable to avoid the topic, admits that she and Philip have parted ways. This revelation prompts Alex to reflect on his own connections and the potential for reconciliation.